want to have uncomfortable conversations. I want the room to be divided. I want people to be screaming and mad at each other. Then I want them to understand each other. I want to see things from a different point of view. This is Unpopular Opinion. And here you guys are again, once again, and you brought more people. Thank you so much. You guys are so kind to us. We're like superstars already. It's so nice. Welcome to Unpopular Opinion. My name is Ntsiki. So today's episode is interesting because, I mean, you guys are the upstanding citizens, so you've got a say in what happens here. And we got a DM, and the lady was like, my husband does traditional medicine. Maybe we can have a topic, which means you guys can actually DM us and suggest topics. It's our space. So today we've got Mpho Tsebe. We're going to talk about our diets and alkaline living. We're going to unpack herbs and whatnot. I don't know how we're going to do that. Are you a doctor?
No, not by profession.
No, but you're a black doctor.
I'm just someone who helps people, that's all.
Tell me about the history, your history, in terms of the work you do. First say what kind of work you do, because obviously...
Okay. So basically, I help people with health issues. So anything you can think of. A lot of my clientele is ladies. In fact, 100% of my clientele is ladies.
But how did you start? Because now I can speak about traditional medicine.
Yes.
So did you have a grandmother that taught you when you were young? What brought you into the space?
In this space. All right, cool. So a couple of years back, my wife got ill. And, doctors couldn't help her. She was on medication, and it looked like we were going the chronic route, because... the situation is not getting any better.
And they couldn't tell what the problem was?
No, well, the diagnosis was she was, at the time, she was severely anemic. She had low blood pressure.
Okay.
And so both conditions have similar characters. So with her, it was like a double whammy. The fatigue, headaches. So that's what propelled me to, go into research and start understanding, what is it? What is this anemia? What is this low blood pressure? What causes it? And, and that's when my eyes were opened to this world of natural healing, that, it's an abnormality for us to get ill. I think one doctor puts it so eloquently. He says, guys, if you want to understand health or how the body works, just look into nature and look at the animals in nature. They don't get sick. They don't give birth to defect babies. They don't, So the problem is we've moved, humans, we've moved so much away from, the original diet. We're not eating, a proper, normal, natural, organic food anymore. We're eating organic food. Even when you try and go the healthy route, our food has been so chemicalized. Forgot the name of that book. The doctor actually wrote a book about how he found that there was more colon cancer in vegetarians, people who are eating that healthy.
What?
Yes, precisely because we are not...
Because of the GMO and things?
Not necessarily, but the chemicals. There's so much chemicalization.
Oh, body pesticides.
Yes, the pesticides, all of that, So those are some of the things that,
Okay, going back to your story with your wife, because we want to build up nicely.
Okay, So, and then I learned about, the proper diet. We should be eating more, of a plant-based diet. I learned about techniques that you use. Fasting is a very powerful technique that you use to heal the body. And so that was me, absorbing all this information.
I'm going to come back to the fasting because I do want us to actually unpack so you can tell me.
Definitely we will.
Next up, because we still want to know about Mpho,
Okay,
our audience doesn't know you. So, so we want to know so that they can trust you with the information you're giving us.
For sure. And so that's me, absorbing all this information. I decided, look, let me go for it and let me try it. Well, at the time, I also had my own skeleton issues, but I was a bit biggish, not really big.
Really?
Yes. I was, I think I weighed 85 at the time. And I had a...
So then did you study what happened? So you start Googling anemia and what.
Yes, and then... Yes. So at the time I was I just resigned from work, you know. So I had all the time in the world, you know, just sitting at home, researching, downloading books, and you know, so you know, you discover this, and then it leads you that direction, and that leads you there, and you know, so that was my life practically. And I, you know, started sourcing these herbs, and I'm like, that's me going for a detox. You know, I'm going to detox. I'm going to go enough. I'd never fasted my entire life. And that whole period felt like I was dying. So I went on a 14 20 day detox. Literally, so detox, you are on freshly squeezed juices. So it's freshly squeezed juices and water, and you're drinking herbs. And that was me. And within that 2 weeks, I lost 20 kilograms. I moved from 85 to 65. I was seeing a physio at the time because I had, so those were my issues that, you know, I had just learned to live with my abnormalities, you know. I had shoulder injury, seeing a physio for that. It helped, but you know, it was still there, consistently was there, but that pain literally disappeared in those 20 days. I had issues with my sinuses. I had that forever, you know, my sinuses literally disappeared. So, and then
what herbs did you use?
All sorts of herbs. There's herbs like called sarsaparilla, there's herbs like burdock, there's herbs like sea moss, there's, you know, all sorts of herbs that, you know, cleanse your, that clean your colon, there's, you know, so, yeah, and that was me, and I felt so good.
So it just worked.
It worked. I'd never felt. I was mind blown, you know. And my intention at the time wasn't to start a business, but to just tell people out there that, guys, you know, literally food is killing us. I felt so amazing, you know. And I opened a page, literally just talking about food, talking about my journey and food, and it literally just caught on. It caught on. I changed the diet at home. My family, my wife got better. My kids.
When you say you change the diet, exactly what do you change? How do you do it so that narcissists or con? Hey, people have been seeing my cover for the past couple of weeks.
Very challenging. Very challenging. But yeah, you know, so we stopped. We stopped a lot of things. We literally stopped eating meat. So in my house, we haven't had any meat for the past 6-7 years. We stopped dairy. We stopped woody cornflakes and all these funny cereal things. We stopped. So yeah. So the bulk of our food is. So how do you eat?
What do you eat? Give me a daily.
Okay, so
exeni and then lunch and then dinner.
Okay, so we're big on fruit. So in the morning it's normally fruits. My wife loves smoothies. So I prefer juices, freshly squeezed juices. And then there's grains that you eat. There's things like, to bring it back home, mabele. Mabele is a very good grain.
Oh, really?
Yes, that's something that's indigenous. It's, you know, it's organic. It's not genetically modified. Well, I know now they're busy doing some GMO stuff because they've discovered it's actually a very drought-resistant crop, and you know, so it will cost them less, and you know, yeah. So
keep problem, but
then there's grains like quinoa. Maybe you might be familiar with grains like quinoa. There's things like spelt. There's teff grain. Teff is like a sorghum amabele, but it comes from up north in Ethiopia. That's their national, you know, sort of staple.
Because that's another thing that I actually wanna. Because different environments have got different plants.
That is true. That is true.
So then?
It's okay. Look, as long as you know you're eating something that is that comes earth. Organic, exactly. Let's just put it like something that is natural, that is from earth. Then you know you're eating good food. Your body doesn't react. Actually, it's actually fruit and vegetables that you consume that don't have any kind of, you know, inflammatory reaction, or your body doesn't, react in any way. It's only when you eat fruit and vegetables. Anything else, it creates issues in the body.
Then, okay, you're going to have your smoothie in the morning and some mabele, and then lunchtime, what are you going to eat?
Lunchtime can be anything, can be a salad, it can be... so you can even make bread. You know, some of these grains, like spelt, rye is another good grain as well. You know, you can have rye bread with Mpho, and, you know, my wife likes making your... what's this? A butternut. She would make chips from butternut. She would fry that, and... So, you know, you just have to be creative about it.
And when you fry, what kind of oils do you use?
So you use natural oils, your grapeseed oils, you can use avocado oil.
Coconut oil.
Coconut and coconut and olive oil. I know people like using olive oil, but ideally you shouldn't. So oils have something called a smoking point, right?
Okay, tell us.
So I don't know if you've tried cooking with olive oil. It burns very quickly. You'll see it steaming, and So basically, what's happening is that now it's losing the benefits that you're supposed to be receiving, because it's not used for you to get the whole benefits from. You're supposed to take it raw. So it's good to drizzle it as is raw into your salads, and That's when you get the benefits of it. But yeah, you've seen when you put it in a pan, it starts smoking, meaning the chemical properties change. So oils like your grapeseed, your avocado, they can tolerate high heat and without changing the chemical
And
structure.
how does the food taste? Does it change the flavor of the food in any way?
You're talking about the?
Like when you use different types of oils, because I get we're used to just using sunflower oil and then we move on. I mean,
olive oil, I know, people use olive oil. It taints even the nah.
Makanda olive oil. Oh my God, I almost died.
So things like your grapeseed oil, you don't really. It's almost like your sunflower oil.
Oh,
it doesn't have that effect on your food.
Okay, So if we move from sunflower oil to grapeseed oil, that's a good move.
Number one.
Oh, yeah. Damn. Okay.
So things like there's a book called it's written by a medical doctor who's done. That guy had done so many heart transplants but he later throughout his career also discovered that we're actually treating symptoms. It's actually about we need to be the food exactly. So this thing of cholesterol, and it's called the Great Cholesterol Lie. It's called Dr. Guys can go out and check it. Dr. London, the Great Cholesterol Lie.
Okay.
And he talks about all these things, how these cheap oils, these sunflower oils create a lot of inflammation. So inflammation is the root of all disease. Yes. Inflammation is what leads to clotting. Inflammation is what leads to... It's actually not fat that builds up there. It's actually dead skin cells, dead white cells that build up. And if that thingy breaks, that lining of your artery breaks, and then all those toxins go into your bloodstream. And what your body does in response is it starts clotting so that those toxins don't go further into the body. Yes. But it's all about...
That's how you get the lump.
All those things, yes.
Snap.
So it's about the food. Everything's about the food that we
So how do you... What foods should we eat to counter inflammation then?
It's fruits and vegetables. If you're playing in that space, you're playing in a very safe space. What
are we having for dinner?
Anything. Yeah, your chickpeas. You can have quinoa. You can. So people can also go on my page and they'll see some of the.
What's your page again?
On Facebook, it's Mpho's Electric Alkaline Lifestyle.
Okay.
And then on Instagram, it's Mpho's Alkaline Lifestyle. Sorry, Mpho's _Alkaline _lifestyle. That's on Instagram.
So from what you're calling yourself, I'm gathering that acidity in the body is what makes the body sick.
Yes. But now the question is then, how does your body become overly acidic? It's the food that we eat. So the food that we eat determines that state of pH in the body. So there's what they call metabolic acidosis or respiratory acidosis, where it becomes overly acidic. So it's the food that's contributing to this. So when you're eating fruits and vegetables, it keeps your body, in that nice, perfect pH state.
If we haven't eaten our fruits and vegetables and we've been drinking and we've been eating wrong and then we get more heartburn, how do we work around that? I'm asking for a friend.
So basically it's that you, on day one, which is Monday, just start consuming the right stuff and your body,
I hope my crew heard. Because we've got a problem here on Monday morning.
I can imagine.
Okay, what was it? Sorry, I'm just kidding.
So just go back, Monday morning, start drinking, putting in a lot of water, take a smoothie in the morning, try and drink freshly squeezed, and, and the body knows what to do with the stuff. So it's all about so the body is overly intelligent.
Yes.
There's no science that is more intelligent than what the body is, So just give it the right resources and the body knows.
Unpack that for me.
How do I put it? I think the perfect example, say you get sick. What happens? Your body turns down your appetite. So it's trying to tell you, stop eating or go into fasting so that I can focus on healing and working on myself. But now, on the Western side, what do they tell you? No, you must eat. You are weak. You need to, So you are working against the body, So those are the things that I do.
So you just listen when it says I don't want to eat, then you don't eat.
When the body when your body shuts down your appetite, it's trying to tell you, Or a basic example: if you've got a headache throughout the day, you go and sleep. When you go to sleep, you're doing what we say you are fast asleep, meaning you're going into a fast. What happens the following day when you wake up? The headache is gone. So once you stop eating and, so they're getting us into this eat 3 meals a day snack and we're eating all the time, eating and we're eating the wrong stuff, which is actually, we're working against the system. So that's what we do with fasting. So that's where fasting comes in.
Yes.
We're just emulating, what the body does at night, and we just prolong that, and that's how we heal the body. How ladies get rid of fibroids. That's how we get ladies.
No ways.
Yeah, people
From fasting.
Yes, or just even changing your diet alone. Fibroids. People will see the testimonies on my page.
What do you mean? Like what herb? Do you give them herbs and stuff?
There's some herbs that you can use. Sometimes you don't even need herbs. I mean, just changing your diet alone. I mean, period pains. It's an abnormality.
Yes,
it's not
it's
normal
true.
for people to have period pains. Ladies, it shows a chemical imbalance. But it's food. It's all about food. Just one lady.
What should we be eating towards our period then?
It shouldn't be leading up to. It should just be your lifestyle.
Okay.
How you eat every day.
It's just that you mentioned leaving meat, and I was just like, okay, how do we work around this?
It's a challenging one. Yeah, I think I've learned that because I've learned if you go what people deem as extreme, you would lose a lot of people. So people would then find me saying, "Look, I think it's okay." On weekends, or especially where you're out and you can't really have control of what you eat. You're out with friends. And because to be honest, the lifestyle, you sort of travel when you're moving around because you don't have access to the stuff you'd like to eat. So I call it that 80-20 thing, where you go out, then you can have your meat and all of that. But if you've lived this lifestyle long enough, or if you've gone through a detox, your body tells you, your body becomes very sensitive.
Oh, really?
So once you've detoxed and you try and go back and eat meat, your body starts reacting. People, it comes back, or you get sores all over your body.
What?
So that is a smart, a clean body, and it's supposed to tell you in real time. After eating something, you start bloating, you start, not you eat 3 plates, meat, and you only sick the following day. And when you look back, how do you know, how do you pick which one was the items in all those 3 plates that made you sick, So you eat something now, as you're eating or busy digesting, your body lets you know, man, you start becoming gassy, you start, or like I said, your body literally, it rejects the food. Yes. So, but if you, like I was saying, if you're going to go and have meat, then start looking at some of these things, how your meat has been grown. I know this thing is big. Go for grass-fed, and not all these animals have been kept in this, confined spaces, and they live and they eat where they shit, and they, and that's why they say that,
it's not healthy.
These dairy industries are actually the biggest consumers of antibiotics because the cows are sick. They get pumped with antibiotics. And now you're eating all these things, and now you're also being,
What a mess.
It is a big one.
So then the pharmaceuticals?
What about them?
Are they not cheating the people then? If what you're saying, it means that basically the West came in with their food and with their pharmaceuticals and are making us sick.
Well, I don't want to say it, but when you look at the picture,
right?
It looks like an individual comes in who creates a problem, and comes with a solution. So the two are sort of, so people have made that link. I mean, look at
Dr. Tsebe.
Some people like your Bill Gates, who's, if you look in the backgrounds, he's invested in some of these pharmaceuticals, and at the same time he's invested in this food manufacturing companies like Monsanto. That's the biggest GMO producer of food. And let's
talk about GMO.
Roundup, which is their product. Roundup. Remember that guy in the US who won a court case against Monsanto?
No, please tell us what happened.
No, well, Monsanto. I'm sorry. Roundup is it's what is it? What do you call it? It's something you use to keep weeds out of your if you're farming. So farmers use, so that's how you clear your land, and But what it does, it's actually a chelator, and it takes all the minerals out of the soils. So whatever you plant, that's why these things that we're eating. Someone was saying actually to get the same amount of nutrition you would get in a bowl of salad that someone ate 20 years back, you'd probably have to eat like 20 of those today. Because literally the land is now barren. They've killed the chemicals are killing all those, micro fungi and stuff that release the minerals for the plants.
Why is there no control of things like that? What? Like, sometimes with like skin bleaching and stuff, you'll have government step in and whatever.
Yeah.
Because we've heard that GMO is not healthy.
Well,
or what have we? What's
the problem with all of this is that the research, government is not doing its own research. So it's relying on these companies to go and do research. and then tell government that, yeah, look, read this, it's safe. So I don't know then where's the objectivity in that. So that's why you have people who do their own independent research, but unfortunately they don't have that strong, arming voice like, the big pharmaceuticals would, or the big food manufacturing companies would. So I guess those are some of the...
So have you studied like doctors like not Dr. Tsebe and stuff?
Yeah, this is one of the people that I've been exposed to.
Yes.
But yeah, then once there's so many of them. There's so many people who are talking. You find slightly variations here and there in terms of their treatments.
Yes.
But across board, it's all the same, It's just eating, like I said, organic and, that's why this word organic has become big, is that try and eat things that haven't been, or going back to our African ways where we grow our own food.
Yes.
You know what has been put into that, into that. And
you know what stresses me about what you're saying? When you're saying that the nutrients get thingy sucked out of the earth, is it just going to be that section of land that they've put the chemicals in, or then does that chemical spread with all the seeds and then it spreads across more land and whatever?
It can. I mean, if you are farming on a landscape that is sort of, sloping, and you put your chemicals up here, and when it rains, it washes down.
And into the water,
and sometimes
and then it
if
spreads.
There's a river down there, it gets into the river, and then it can spread, and that's why you see the fish dying. You start, looking all sickly, and So yes, that's the impact of chemicals. And
so tell me about, give me a few, please give us a few state secrets, if you've got gut problems, for gut problems, for the headache, and for heartburn.
Okay. Is this you?
No, it's my friend.
Oh, yeah.
I said I was for friends, yes. Respect me.
No, it's the food.
It's all the food.
Yeah, honestly, it's really in the food. I don't think you can...
But no, I need to there's umhlonyana is good for the chest, or ganja is good for the chest.
Oh, are you talking more about the herbal stuff?
Yes.
Yeah. Look, I think, and that's why you find me trying to avoid talking more about herbs, because herbs are used for healing, but not something that you should be taking every day, throughout and throughout, So you heal using herbs. Thereafter, you maintain through your diet. Yeah. So that's how it should work. Or you take your herbs routinely every so and so. But there are herbs, yes. To be honest, there are herbs that you can consume on a day. One of them being herbs like sea moss, that helps to...
What does sea moss do?
It's very nutritious. It's a sea plant, very nutritious, and it will help bridge that gap, nutrition in terms of nutrition.
So it's like vitamins.
That we're not getting. Yes, but it's
Where
natural.
Where do you get sea moss? I mean, we don't even know where to get all the stuff.
Yeah. No, we sell some of the stuff. I mean, we've got a online shop. We've got a health shop in Pretoria as well.
I think maybe it's time for you to bring out the box.
Okay.
Bring out the box.
Yeah. All right.
I'll show it to you. Safuna lama circuits in fact, because cancer senzani.
That's true.
Yo.
So this is Mpho. This is one of our products. Mpho.
Blood nourisher.
Yeah. So basically, Mpho is a combination of herbs that are very rich in iron. So for ladies who suffer anemia, So I developed this because of my wife. Remember, I told you she had anemia issues, and so this was birthed from that. So this is
That's amazing. So this is an ode to your wife, guys.
Yeah.
It's your wife's poem.
Yeah, that's true. You could put it that way.
That is so
that's
sweet.
It. And there's herbs like sea moss, but here we've encapsulated it. So
see, I want to try this stuff.
Yeah, it's been dried and encapsulated. So this is what sea moss looks like. This is the actual plant from the ocean.
Yes, we've seen this at the beach.
So
if we go to the beach, we just... And then...
Yeah, you need to be careful what you're taking. So you know what you're taking. But you can, if you know how to identify it, then
there's different types of mosses.
No, there's different, So that's why I guess the name sea moss is just a general term for... But this variety is called the Chondrus crispus. So then we're talking about this specific one, the spirally one. And...
so how would you take this in?
How would you consume it? So you put this in a big bowl of water and you just steep it... leave it to sit there for about 4 hours or so, and it starts growing. It's from the ocean.
What?
Water. Yeah, so it starts to balloon. It sucks up all the water, And what happens is you clean it out, you put it in a blender, and you blend it. Blend it for a good 5 minutes or so. And literally, it turns into gel. And you put the gel in a glass bottle, put it in the fridge. Every day, you just eat the gel.
What are you saying to me?
The best. If you're suffering from sinuses, it brings down that inflammation. Basically, it's just for general inflammation. People with joint problems, it helps to, even with skin, it does wonders for the skin. I don't want to talk about skin. There's this one day I went to one of these shops and I went to the cosmetic aisle, and then I saw this small tub of lotion stuff that ladies use on the skin, you know. And I think that small tub went for close to about 2,000. I'm like, what the hell is this? And when I looked, so they've got all these chemicals, and then they say seaweed. And you know it's they're using sea moss. Yeah. Oh, actually, the term is called carrageenan. So that's what they use. This is what they also use to make jelly. You know, jelly.
Yes, that gelatin
exactly.
stuff.
It's all extracted from this. So
would I pour this entire contents?
It depends how much you're making. So if you do the entire thing, it'll fill a big 750 ml jar.
One. Okay.
So for a family, it would work. Or, you know, if it's you and your partner and, you know, it should be sufficient. Or you can make it in batches. You can make half, you fill a small glass container, and then when you, that is done.
I'm so impressed.
Yeah.
I am so impressed. And it turns to gel and everything.
It does. That's actually the easiest way of consuming it. Others would just break off a piece, try and wash it off and boil it. You can drink it as tea, but
what
it's a bit
What
tricky.
are you washing off?
Well, it's got salt in it. It's got Actually, this is one of the cleanest ones that we've got. But normally, you know, we get it because people are always because now they've learned about the healing properties of sea moss. Then people have went and created sea moss pools, farms, where now they take the seaweed and then start growing it in pools. But then you don't get the same type of nutrition.
Not the ocean.
So they put their own salt in there. Exactly. So it needs to be in that ideal, perfect environment, so it absorbs the right, you know, nutrition, and so that you get the best benefits out of it. So normally we'd leave them all dirty, and you'll see all that sea stuff in there, and sometimes you find shells in it, you find a small crabinyana there.
Okay, that's what.
But this is I think this is just one of the cleanest batches that we've got. But what else?
I'm so impressed, fam.
I've got something here. It's called Feminino. It's one of our products.
For girls.
This is for ladies. Something for absence of periods, for clotting.
Does it invite boys?
No.
I need something that invites boys.
I've had ladies with premenopause, or ladies who've been on menopause. Ladies suffering with low libido, and does wonders.
Are you finding that older women or younger women?
A combination. I don't know how young, but between late 20s and your 50s. That's my bracket.
Speaking of that, because the men have gotten Mpho.
Yes.
What have we got? Stabu's into their interview. So it's okay. So
sometimes it's all in the marketing. I've tried a couple of Mpho products, and I've learned that if the system is not clean, it does. And I've met a lot of people who've used Mpho and like, look,
nothing happened.
Because I see a lot of people on a daily, like, I've tried Mpho, nothing. Because the system is not clean. Even with men, you don't need Mpho. If you go on a detox, the one that I'm talking about,
I was just about to say.
The following day, throughout somewhere midway your detox, men get that stiff,
Yes.
So it's easy to fix all these issues. Your erectile dysfunctions, issues
I noticed that
with
someone
who
doesn't drink, the sexual experience of someone who drinks and someone who doesn't drink, it's two worlds apart. And in fact, I'll never have sex with somebody who drinks ever again. What is it about sobriety that makes a man deliver better?
I don't know. Like you said, the effect of alcohol. But look, it's funny. I mean, you've had men who've claimed that, alcohol does it for them,
They think so because they're not sober. We don't say that. Ask us.
That's a good one.
Ask us.
But you find that, people who generally eat well and, your body performs
more
too, exactly,
Amandla.
That is true.
Yes,
I would.
I wish. So then, what is that? The effects of detoxing, whatever? Can you tell me how
Yeah.
you detox the body so that we can advise the male audience
Yeah.
on how
Okay.
we can have less hurt women in society?
Advising everyone, including the ladies with their low libido issues as well.
Exactly.
But okay, so basically, fasting is a technique that we use to fast track the body's healing process. Going back to what I said, the example I gave about you going to bed and sleeping. When you go to bed, they say you are fast asleep.
And then you break fast.
You are
It's based on this fast.
So even this they tell us what is it that we need to eat. So when you go into a fast period where your digestive system is at a halt, is at a standstill, you can't in the morning break your fast with papa yamabani and eggs and bacon, and there's something called it's called the.
So we shouldn't be having heavy breakfast. Is that what you're saying?
We should actually breakfast in general we shouldn't be having, but yes, we shouldn't be having heavy breakfast. There's something called so scientists have studied what the body does at different hours of the day, right?
Oh.
It's called the circadian rhythm. So basically, it's just a clock, and basically, so I mean, we don't even need that clock anyway. I think Africans and the intelligence. We just observe and we pay attention, and we already know. But if you look at what your body does in the morning, you're more likely to do like when you wake up in the morning, bowel movement number 2, number 1.
Yes.
So that is telling you that the body is actually cleaning from last night.
Yes.
And what is required then, meaning you need fiber, because you need to sit down and move stuff out. You need lots of liquids. And what is that? That is literally, that's fruit. That's an apple. That's just loaded with liquid. It's loaded with fiber. So that tells us that, that's how that would be the ideal food, to break your fast with, So smoothies I think are the best in the morning if you've got energy for that, are the best. I'm more of a water and just water with lemon or just tea in the morning. That's me. Or freshly squeezed, but things like fruits I would have slightly later in the morning, like from your 10, 11. I think that's the ideal time to actually start having your breakfast later on in the day.
Why? What's the body doing for so long? Exen?
No, it's your body stretching, man. It's you can't just hit it straight. It's like a sprint, and you're eating heavy stuff, your body
How should we be detoxing? How often? How does it? Because when we grew up, and that was brilliant.
I think that's what saved a lot of people. That's why people will tell you, guys, we grew up in the villages and we never needed medical aid. Now that I've started working, I'm in Gauteng, I can't survive with us. Yeah, we've changed how we're eating now and, all those issues. But back to fasting. So fasting is detoxing. Yeah, detoxing is a fasting experience, ideal detoxing. So what happens is when you are not eating, your body then focuses all its energy on one activity, and that's just to cleanse and to clean and to heal. So, and that's how we get people to fast track the healing process. Yeah.
How long should we be fasting for? I'm so traumatized, not eating for a whole day.
Yeah. Look, we run different programs. So we've got a 21-day detox program. So the first 14 days, you're on liquids, strictly liquids. So that's you're taking your herbs, freshly squeezed juice, water. Ideally, try and drink natural spring water if you can get, if your budget does allow you, natural spring water.
Is that borehole water for people who live on farms?
Not necessarily borehole. I think borehole water, you need to get it tested because what we're doing so let me give the difference between the two. Natural spring water is rainwater that goes down into the ground and the earth and God with his intelligence, and then it moves back up to the surface. And as it's moving back up to the surface, it's going through the different layers of soil and rock, and it's collecting the minerals. It's being filtered for you. And that's why the water that comes out of the spring, it tastes nice, it's sweet because of the minerals. It's been, naturally filtered for you. And what you're doing with borehole is that now you're digging straight down into the ground, so you're getting that water. So sometimes it's got a heavy concentration of calcium. So that's why you need to just get your water tested. And, so too much calcium can, lead to calcification in the body and you start developing kidney stones and things of that nature. So, but yeah, so if you do have a borehole, then at least put a filter to it so that when the water comes out and then there's a filter, and then you can collect from there. You know?
It's scary because all the things we're eating are poisonous, Mos. Even the water we're drinking.
To the body is true. It is toxic to the body. And people will feel it. I mean, after doing a detox, like I said, all these things that professionals complain about, fatigue, that's one of the biggest problems in society. People are not productive, fatigue. People will tell you, when I get home, I can't do anything. Literally, when I get home, and I still have to take care of the kids, I need to cook. Or those who don't even have to do those things, people just tell you, when I get home, I'm finished, I'm completely finished. Yeah. So fatigue, headaches, what else? It's the ladies with their period pains and, yeah. So it will deal with all of those things. Your diet and fasting will deal with it. But yeah, like I said, we've got a 21-day program. And then
so you can't fast for like 3 days?
You can. And you feel very good.
Okay.
But, or someone like me, again, how long you're supposed to fast, your body will tell you, I think if you live, generally if you live, you're on a good diet, you don't have to do those long, fasts like that.
Yeah.
So if I'm getting someone who's never completely, because people think it's crazy, not eating. But I don't blame them. I mean,
it's a traumatizing thought.
It is, and there's things that we go through when you detox. We call them detox symptoms. So I know people love saying they're not side effects. You're taking a drug and then it has some kind of negative stimulus in your body.
Yes.
We call them detox symptoms. It's called
like a withdrawal, so
almost like withdrawals.
Yeah.
And the body obviously can only clean through the channels that it's got, So one of them is the skin. The skin is actually the body's biggest organ and elimination channel.
Yes.
So when we go through it, so people start having rash or they'll have skin outbreaks.
Yes. That happens when you're detoxing or you need to detox.
When you're going through the detox.
Okay.
Yeah. So obviously sometimes even before, I mean, people,
that's how you know, right? Good, I'm not well. My skin starts.
So there's the skin outbreaks. You become very moody as well. I used to think it was only with ladies, but I went through another detox where I was very moody. I couldn't even control it. I knew, but I was very irritable.
Yes.
Yeah. Possibly why. Possibly why, But yeah, all sorts of, joint pain. People will tell you, no, I've got this pain here on my back. And then the following day, it's moved, it's back here on my shoulder. So wherever you're experiencing all this, it's where the body is actually working. It's, it's doing something there. With me, I used to have, before I started my diet and changing how I live, I was rapidly losing my eyesight. But I used to be just one of those guys who've been resistant to wearing glasses. And, when I drive at night, I'll be doing this, with the lights.
Yes.
So that used to be me, But through the detox, and whenever I go on a detox, my eyes, here at the back of my eyes, I have this sharp pain. And it's there sometimes for like 2, 3, 4 days. But after every detox or every fast, my eyesight keeps getting better and better and better. And I've had a lot of clients, ladies who've will tell you, Mpho, no, but I can't see in my glasses anymore. And that's because, remember, they keep shifting your eyelids.
Yes, according to.
Yes. No, you need to go because your eyesight has improved. So they need to, exactly. So you need to adjust. And some people will tell you, no, I don't drive with my glasses anymore. Or I can now read without my glasses. So all these things we've been told that, no, it's incurable, it's what,
Unbelievable.
Trying to trap us in this, chronic
trying to make money off us.
That is true, So the body can heal and yeah.
Do you want to show me? Do you have any other products you want to show me?
We've got here, this is tough grain. I think this is one of the grains I was telling you about. It's like a sorghum, but comes from up north in Ethiopia. Yeah, you can make it umtogo, you can make it at stiff pap. Or what we do is they actually bake with it as well. You can integrate it with your other flours, like your spelt flowers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And but yeah, I think the biggest offenders in terms of food is I've realized is meat. Definitely one of them. Creates inflammation in the system. Wheat is a big one.
Okay, I'm glad we're having this conversation.
Yeah. Wheat is a very
so that's meat bread.
So dairy, very bad. These two items, wheat and I know people will be commenting and arguing, but that's okay. But my experience has taught me that these two items, if you remove these two, what you will see is that people with eczema, you don't need, people are buying creams and buying, just remove these two items. So what these two items is, they kill the gut bacteria, the good gut bacteria. And the purpose of that bacteria is literally is to scan stuff, the good stuff. Well, it helps to ferment, and also just to scan the good and bad stuff that should go into the. So once that bacteria dies off, anything and everything gets absorbed into the system.
But then what about us girls? Because we're supposed to have yogurt.
No. I don't know. It was got so cruel that people had to wait so many years and years so we can develop
but for our
things and start.
Our things need yogurt.
No,
the doctors told us our things need yogurt.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to argue with doctors. I'm just saying we've learned that no, you don't need yogurt.
So what do we use for
nice
thrush then? What are we going to do with our thrush and everything?
There's herbs like nettle leaf, which is about $60. You drink a tea like nettle leaf. You keep, my wife used to have UTIs. I can't remember the time. And because I never fully understand as a guy at that time, like, no, but this woman, no. And every week,
what is this infection? And our vaginas are so sensitive.
Yes,
It's
but
insane.
It's about
but I also well, my friend uses coconut oil.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really.
But people don't need to do all these things if you eat well. I mean, my wife hasn't had a UTI. For someone who used to have it every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. I mean, there's a time where we used to drink.
Called nettle?
Stinging nettle, or we call it nettle leaf.
Okay. Okay.
And I mean, at a point where I remember we used to. I know the popular advice is cranberry juice.
Yes.
Yeah, and at the time there used to be this cheap one. Yeah, take 5. We used to have the 5.
No,
at some
but
point,
that's not real juice.
It
when
wasn't.
You take 5.
Yeah, but I couldn't at the time my level of knowledge.
Okay.
And, yeah. And or what is it? What is it? Is it citrus soda or something? And there's the purple one, cranberry or something. Then you'd have to take.
It's so wrong.
Yes.
You have to get the organic stuff.
But you don't need those things. Just introducing nettle tea into your system. Nettle will deal with your UTIs, will deal with kidney.
Where do we get nettle tea, Anna?
Anyway, health shops. In health shops, we sell it as well. It's on our online shop.
Okay.
But generally, just eat well. If ladies eat well, it's more about
what you put in.
That equips your immune system. If you've got a strong immune system, the external environment doesn't matter anymore.
And it's funny you say that because I remember, I haven't been sick since COVID when they said drink hot water with lemon.
With lemon, yes.
And I was a sickly person.
Yes.
Like now I don't even remember what flu.
I mean, that was us. My firstborn son, I mean, when you start having, or this is my doctor, because you've been around and so this one at least has tried to, his issues, and now that was my son. Very sickly, his nose was always running. Causing that it creates a lot of inflammation. It causes a lot of mucus. That's the body's response to try and buffer acids. It's mucus. It produces a lot of mucus. So even with, your stomach acid is so strong. If you had to pour it on this table, it would burn a hole through the table, But how come it doesn't burn the...
Yes.
It's because there's a thick layer of mucus there. So mucus can buffer acids. So when we eat all this food that create a lot of acids, your body's response is mucus.
Make more mucus.
That's why your kids are always running. Yeah, because now food now has also become linked to status, If one now don't know go school, it's the poor family. So there's also social pressures attached to these things. But if look at all these kids, running, constantly running, they're rubbing their eyes, they've got eczema, they've got, remember I told you it kills gut bacteria. Yeah, okay, maybe not going deep into it, but I always just make this basic example that, guys, the link between your gut and your brain is, when you drink alcohol, what's the place that gets affected?
Yes.
It's the brain.
Oh, snap.
So even with all this food that we take, you might not feel it. You eat rubbish, you start having chronic, every day you eat rubbish every day. It's going in here, but the problem is here, So in the Western world, what do? They try and treat the headaches, but the problem is not coming here. It's actually down here. Wow, yeah. So the gut and that connection, with kids, sugar that they consume, and
Yes, like how it gives you energy. That's another thing that you should be avoiding, sugar.
Definitely. We haven't. My kids don't sugar, especially the new ones. And I've learned that, when kids are born into these cultures, then it's easy for them.
Yes.
It's a bit challenging for us. Even now, all these years that I haven't had meat, doesn't mean I don't crave it. I still crave meat a lot, especially when I haven't eaten and I'm hungry. and someone is
That's a lot
cooking
of
steak
discipline,
there,
hey?
it takes a lot. But again, it's because I'm also afraid of the way that my body might react to it as well. Remember I told you, once you live on this long enough, then your body starts.
You say you haven't had meat in 7 years.
Yeah, that's true. One good example is my brother. When he started doing his intern, he stayed with us for a month. And basically, he just ate how he ate.
Yes.
He tried fasting, one day, but basically just 30 days where he didn't eat meat, didn't eat ordinary stuff. And I think this was in sometime in October, and the friend was getting married in November. The first week of November, that first weekend of the first week, went to his friend's wedding, and he ate just ordinary food, rice, and he literally started throwing up all over the show. His body was now telling him no. This
I don't know. What is this?
Yes, well, this is not good for you. So
our bodies are so good to us, eh?
Very intelligent, exceptionally intelligent. Just give it the right resources, and it knows how to work with things. So
I like that. I'm fascinated by what you were saying about the alcohol and the relationship between the gut and the brain.
And the brain, yeah.
Because I do notice. We do have energy from eating certain things, and okay, fine. I just want to finish off. What's this then?
This is one of the. It's called spelt. So the grain is called spelt.
Nati pasta. This thing.
This is pasta.
Okay.
But these are pastas made from healthy grains. So even when you look at the ingredients,
because pasta causes constipation.
It's because it's wheat. So the history with wheat is that. So there's natural wheat, and we used to be a very thin, tall stalk, you know, and the yield wasn't so great. And there's a guy called Dr. Boulay. He actually won a Nobel Peace Prize for coming up with this genetically modified type of wheat, which so we're basically improving it, because the first guys who came up with the genetically modified wheat used to produce a lot of yield, you know. So it was heavy for that stock that kept breaking all the time. So now it's costing financially. So Dr. Boulay went in with his team and came up with a wheat that had very strong yield production, but had a nice thick stock that could carry it to full term. Well,
is GMO good though?
Well, you're eating things that were not there in nature before.
That's what I'm saying. Is that good?
Yeah, I mean, look, some GMOs are foods that are that don't produce seed, that are infertile.
Yes.
And what food is? Food is basically it's information, it's DNA. That's why they can take this from that and put it in this, and then it will start behaving like a papaya. It will start having a purple, you know. So it's genetics, it's information. So when you put that, it interacts with your own body's genetics. So you know, so women shouldn't be surprised when you're eating all these things that are
GMO.
Sterile, and now
you're not giving.
Exactly.
You see, that's why I'm like, there's no rules and regulations, because I'm like, no, GMO food is not okay.
Yeah, in my opinion as well, try and avoid. Or let's put it like this: try and eat as close as possible to nature. You know.
Okay, let's put it like that.
That's the best way of putting it. Yes.
And stop buying these
and stop
things.
fighting with people, because look, I mean, people are. It's everyone's hustle. You know. They're coming in with their own solutions. So don't fight that solution. You know, what is your solution? You know, it's to say to our people with education, just try and eat as close as possible to nature. You know, when you eat these things, when you go to the store, about a seedless melon. I mean, guys, it's crazy.
Seedless,
you know, it doesn't make sense. And we love these things because you know when you're driving, you don't have time to with the seeds, because it's easy consumption. It's convenient to our So that's
so basically, you came here today to tell us to eat properly.
I call it the African diet. All this fancy, you know, because we get lost in this Alkaline, and you know, I call it, just go back to how our forefathers used to eat. I call it the African diet. You know, eating abu mabele, brown pap with bumero. There's so many varieties out there. I learned from what's this blackjack. You know blackjack, where as kids we'll be running in the fields.
Yes, actually, let's talk about blackjack. It keeps coming up.
Yeah, it's called,
What's it
the
good
scientific
for?
name is Biden's spilosa, but it's got a lot of benefits.
Yes,
that's the thing with plant. One plant is, so what they do in pharmacy or in medicine is that they would discover that, but when people take this herb, it's good for the heart. So what is the active ingredient?
Yes,
you know?
yes.
And then they would go in there
that.
and they would take the active ingredient.
Yes.
You know. And that's what they would give you in pill form.
Yes.
You know? And that's why it's got side effects, because It's just this active ingredient
Yes,
operating.
without-
It's isolated, yeah. So that's why when you study a plant or you study an apple, there's so much nutrition in there. Some of it they haven't even properly discovered or even studied, you know. So why it's got all these things is so that it's to curb the severity of that active ingredient, and this is to support that, and this is to, you know, so that your body's, so you should be getting the complex. We call it a complex, that entire, you know, yeah. So eat the plant, the entire complex. So, yeah. So, but that's what I was saying. That's why when you eat something like CMOS will be good on your skin because it's got calcium. It will be good for this and that, and you know, because it's got potassium, it's got, you know, all these things that your body needs. But blackjack, we learned from, because I used to think that it's just a tea. You take it as a tea, and I help her who's from Zim. She's like, no, when we grew up in Zim, I mean, we were eating this. This is one of the, you know, more rojos that, yeah, and she would cook it for us.
You eat the leaves.
Yes, so you pick the leaves and you eat it. And that's how then you don't have to get to a point where you're sick and then you're boiling it and you're drinking, because you're consuming all this healthy stuff that's supporting you.
Yeah, because it detoxes. I think that's what the blackjack does.
Exactly. But so many things, you know. So yeah.
So many things?
No, I'm saying it will address so many issues.
Like what? That's what I'm asking. Good to...
Yeah, I know it's very good for the kidneys. What else can you use it for? Having a bit of a brain
okay,
for,
fine.
Yeah,
We're also going to go all and research.
Yeah, please
But
do.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Is there any other product you want to show me? Or is this right?
No, we've got stuff like the colon broom. So, because you're talking about gut issues. And, yeah.
Yes, colon
You're talking about
broom.
constipation.
Yes.
And so that's sweet. So the difference between our colon broom or herbs that give a laxative effect is that so an over-the-counter laxative would do what your colon is supposed to do. And if there's chronic use of that over-the-counter laxative,
break it down and
not necessarily, but you start having a lazy colon because it doesn't work anymore. It's used to having something that does its job for, yeah. So what herbs do is that they stimulate your colon muscles to start doing what they're supposed to do. So you're not dependent on them. Yeah. But the trick is...
So this is like aloe in here?
No, there's no aloe. There's herbs like rhubarb. There's herbs like... what else? There's a walnut. You know the walnut, the black walnut shells. The shells are very good for... So this is more than just releasing... but also herbs like your walnut, and there's wormwood umhlonyani in there. But these two help with parasites. If you're dealing with, you know, intestinal parasites and things of that nature, it will deal with that as well.
Oh, okay. And then, photos on bonus?
Well, we've got...
Oh,
these are elderberries.
Elderberries are good for?
Elderberries help to boost your immune system. So, and what I mean by that is that once you consume this, they see an elevation in your white blood cells. So those are your fighting cells, your warrior cells.
Okay.
So, yeah. But very effective against cold flus, you know, your N1, your H1s. The old COVID, the COVID one, and you know, very effective against
You make it as a tea.
This is a tea. So these are very popular now in winter, and so this is our fastest. But over and above that, like I said, because it's a complex. I mean, I had this lady who I was treating, and one of the herbs that I recommend for her was elderberries.
Yes.
And she says, one day she comes through and she says, Mpho, I'm here to stock up, but I need extra elderberries for the lady who cleans at work, you know. I'm like, why? She's like, no, this lady tells me that now that I've been drinking elderberry every day, you know, I would leave some in my cup.
Yes.
And when she'd come in to clean my office,
she would drink.
And then one day she comes into the office, she's like, I think her name was Mitleket. It's like, but what is this thing that you're drinking every day, you know? She tells, no, it's a tea, I'm sick, and, you know, why are you asking about it? She's like, no, this is what's happened, you know. Every day that I've been taking some of your tea, and that pain that I've been suffering for years is gone, you know. Apparently I think he would disease away, so that inflammation that is still there. It's like that pain that I used to have for years is gone. So it talks to that complex that I was talking about, because herbs have so many, you know, chemical, you know, phytonutrients and all these things to them.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm so impressed, Dr. Mpho. I really am.
Let's not use titles. People are sensitive about their titles.
I know. At that time, their titles are not.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyways,
no, let's
leave them alone.
Don't go there. Let's not fight people's hustle.
Right.
Like I said, yeah.
Thank you so much for taking your
It's
time
a pleasure.
to come teach us how to eat well. And I'm hoping that I'm going to get a free sample somewhere there. Outstanding citizens, it's been a pleasure. Guys, you see, we got you. You see, we got you. Now we're making you and your body well. We're making your mind well. We're making your spirit well. Unpopular opinion. Bye-bye. I want to have uncomfortable conversations. I want the room to be divided. I want people to be screaming and mad at each other. Then I want them to understand each other. I want to see things from a different point of view. This is Unpopular Opinion.